Today we're going to talk about the issue that plagues all cyclists at one time or another, and that is the flat tire. So today we're going to go over ways to prevent it, different types of flat tires, what causes it, and how to identify what your problem is if you are getting repeated flat tires. So this customer just brought in their bike because it had a flat. They were able to ride it home, and that's partially because it has some tire sealant in it. And here you can see evidence of where the tire sealant came out to seal the tire. So that's how they were able to ride home, but still want to do something a little more. Looks like there might be a little evidence of a thorn there. And then generally when I'm looking at a tire, I like to look around the tread just to see if there's any other obvious signs. Like this looks like a little piece of glass that might be embedded in the tread. So that could be causing a problem. It looks like this one was most likely caused by a puncture, which is probably the most common type of flat. So we'll go ahead and pop the tire off here. Having a couple of nice tire levers will keep you from scraping up your rims if you're removing the tire. Next thing to check is the rim strip. So this protects the spoke holes from puncturing the tube from the inside. This one looks pretty good. It's intact all the way around. There's different types of rim strips. This one has a rubber rim strip. And again, if you look around here, it looks like everything is covered. This one you can see right by the valve hole that the rim strip is not covering that. So sometimes these sharp edges can actually puncture the tube from the inside. So anytime you're replacing a flat, it's always a good idea to check your rim strip just to make sure that there's nothing that's actually causing the flat from the inside of the wheel. So there are two types of flats you can get. One is a puncture, which we were talking about. The other one's called a pinch flat, and that occurs when you get low tire pressure in your tube and you hit a curb or a rock and it causes the tube to actually get a pinch in it. That'll be indicated by two side-by-side punctures, so it'll look like a snake bite. That's how you know that it was probably caused by low tire pressure versus a puncture. In this case, like I said, from what we saw earlier, we're pretty sure that this one was caused by a puncture, and here you can see where the sealant is coming out a little bit. This one you probably could have inflated and kept riding it, but customer just wanted to be sure that they didn't have future problems. The next step whenever I'm replacing a tube is to run my fingers around the inside of the tire as I look for things on the outside, just to make sure that there's nothing hidden that's puncturing that's not visible from the outside. And that way we make sure that we don't put in a new tube and immediately puncture it by something that you can't visibly see from the outside but is poking through from the inside. Now this customer had a catastrophic blowout. The tube, the tire, everything went everywhere. Another thing to check periodically on your bike is just to check the sidewall for dry rot. The tire like this, you can see that the sidewall has gotten kind of dry and worn. Look, as you're kind of pinching it, you can see that there's starting to be some cracks here. This is the kind of thing that can give out and the tube can shoot out if you suddenly lose structural integrity on the tire. So if you do start getting dry rot on your tire on the sidewall, that's something you'll want to replace so you don't have a problem. So as an extra safeguard against flats, we're going to add some sealant to this tire. The one we use is Stan's No Tubes. This is the same stuff that you use in a tubeless setup, but it does help self-seal small cactus, thorns, bullheads, stuff like that, so that you can inflate your tire and keep going or not even be aware that it happened. So to put this in on this tube, it's a Schrader valve, so we're going to remove the core with a core removing tool. So that'll come out. And then I've got my bottle of sealant here. Try not to make a mess. They make a syringe to add this as well, but I find that these little bottles actually work pretty well just on their own. These smaller wheels, it's a little harder because it's hard to get it directly onto the valve stem, but it still does a pretty good job. And once you have one of these little bottles, if you're doing a lot of these, you can fill it with the larger size, and these come in all different sizes depending on how much of it you're using. Once it's in, then you just thread your core back in and inflate the tire. Now, if you are doing tire sealant in a Presta tube, not all Presta tubes are created equal. Some will have a removable core, some will not. So on this one, you can see that there's kind of a flattened side. And if we use the other side of our core removing tool, we can remove that. And this allows you to easily add your sealant into that tube. On cheaper tubes, they won't have that removable core, so you won't be able to add sealant to a tube like this. All the tubes that we carry will have the removable core, but just something to be aware of, that there is a difference in tubes. All Schrader tubes will have a removable core, so that's not a worry with a Schrader valve. So one of the first choices you have when you go to replace your tube is there are different types. One is a thorn resistant, one is a standard. So the wall on this one's going to be much thicker, so it takes a lot more to penetrate it. This is one way that you can lessen your chance of getting the flat. Fairly basic, but there are two different valve types. So when you are getting a replacement tube, just make sure you get the correct valve. There's the standard Schrader valve, which is like the one you have on a car, and then the skinnier Presta valve. You can use a Presta valve on a Schrader rim if you use a shim. You can't put a Schrader into a Presta because the hole is smaller. So just quick little thing, we've done another video on this, you can check that out. The tire you use can also have a big impact on whether or not you get flat tires. Real basic tires will just be rubber without much of a thorn resistant barrier. Other tires will have different layers, so you'll see things like puncture belts, or on the Schwalbe they'll rate it on the protection level. So this one's 7, it's their maximum, and they've got a whole big built-in layer that helps protect from thorns, glass, stuff like that from puncturing through to the tube. If you're getting a road bike tire, things like the Gator Skin, again, have that extra belt in there to help punctures from happening in the first place. And if you are going to be riding somewhere where there's a lot of debris, just having a tread on your tire can also help, just because it puts that much more space in between your tire and whatever you could be running over to keep it from puncturing. It doesn't solve a roofing nail, but if you're going over a goat head, this might keep it from going through, whereas if you had a basic road bike tire, it might go through that. Other things you can do to help protect against flats if your tire doesn't have a built-in puncture barrier is they make different types of tire liners. This one's called a Rhinodillo, thin strip that you put in between your tire and your tube. Another one that we do a lot of is a Tannus armor. This is actually a foam insert that goes in between your tire and your tube that gives you some sidewall protection. This will help against pinch flats because it keeps the tire from compressing down on the rim even if it gets a little low. And in some cases on smaller tires, this will even serve as a run flat. If you do happen to puncture it, allow you to limp your way home. Doesn't work as well with some of the larger tires, but again, another option that helps protect against a lot of flats. So in this bike right here, this customer had us install the armor inserts a little over a year ago. And over time, they do compress a little bit. You can see the difference between a new one, where it's much thicker and spongier, versus this, where it's compressed a little bit. This still offers you protection, but not quite as much as it does when it's right out of the box. So over time, it will compress a little bit. In this case, we're gonna go ahead and replace it so that it has a little more cushion, and it'll be ready to go for another year or more. Now with the Tannus armor insert, since it's designed to fit kind of a range of tire widths, they do have a little marking here on the side. You can trim if you're putting it on a narrower tire so that this doesn't overlap at the bottom or get in the way of you installing the tire. So on the one we're about to install, it's small enough that we do need to remove this part. So we're just gonna grab a pair of scissors and then we can cut right along that line. Also holds its form pretty well from being in the package, so if you know you're going to be doing this in advance, you can always open it up and kind of let the foam settle out before you dive in on the project. And depending on how tight your tire is, sometimes these go on really easily. Sometimes it can almost be a two-person project, because when you install these, it's kind of like trying to change a tire with a partially inflated inner tube already. The other thing to be really careful of with the armor inserts, because the foam helps the tire keep its shape, sometimes you can get low tire pressure without even being aware of it. So one of the failures I have seen is when the pressure gets really low, somebody stops suddenly, especially on like a heavier cargo bike, and you can actually shear off the stem if it gets too low. So just remember to check your tire pressure periodically, even with the armor, because a lot of times it will look inflated even if it isn't. Now with the armor, you want to use a slightly smaller tube than you normally would. On a wider, fatter tire like this one, it doesn't matter as much because the range on these can go all the way from like 1.5 all the way up to 2.0. It's more important if you're doing the smaller road bike sizes. If you have like a 700 by 28, you might need to use a 700 by 23 tube. But if you look at the armor insert, it'll give you size guidelines. So I'm going to install this one with a Schwalbe tube. One of the things I like about the Schwalbe tubes for the Schrader valve is it's a metal stem, so it helps protect it a little bit. Again, if the tire gets low and you stop suddenly, it just keeps it from shearing off. It also allows you to kind of hold it in place with the little nut. Make sure that the stem goes in straight and doesn't go in at an angle, because sometimes that's another fault area on tubes when they're installed. If you don't have it quite straight, sometimes you can cut the side of the stem. So just be careful when you're installing it to make sure that that goes straight through the hole and not at an angle, and that when you're putting the tire on and off that you're not accidentally moving it back and forth. I'm getting the stem through first, making sure it's nice and straight. Again, as you put a tube in, and this is whether you're doing it with an armor or not, make sure that you don't have any bunches or pinches or the tire folding back on itself. That'll cause problems when you go to inflate it. I also put a little bit of air into this before installing it, keep it from getting pinched or folded as I install it. When I go to actually put the tire in place, I will probably let a little bit of air out just so it's a little bit easier, but this, like I said, helps just make sure it's centered, get it evenly spread out here. Now for this customer that just had the complete blowout, they did not ever want to have to deal with a flat tire again, so we're doing what we call Tannus tires, which is a solid foam tire. So this is a piece of one in cross section. So this, you'd never have to worry about a flat. There's no tube. It uses these little locking pins which feed in through the holes in the side, and then that'll lock in underneath the rim of the bike to lock it in place. So this will snap under the clincher lip, and then that holds it in place. And with these, you never have to worry about a flat. The other thing is with these, you also don't need to have that rim strip to protect against the spoke nipples and the bottom of the rim, because again, there's nothing to go flat. Now, Tannus tires are the ultimate for protecting against flats because there's no tube, but it's not the perfect tire for everyone. These are phenomenal commuter tires. You do get a little bit of efficiency loss. So if you're doing a lot of longer rides, you might start to notice that and might prefer a pneumatic tire or using something like the Armor where you don't have that efficiency loss. The other thing is not all rims are going to be compatible. So you do have to have a clincher rim, which is where it has the lip where you can lock the pin underneath. You also have to carefully measure the rim, because if the rim is too wide, obviously the tire would slop around. So you have to make sure that you get the right tire for the right rim. If you need help, bring it in. We can help measure it up, get them installed for you. So it is a great option. Just know that it might not be the right tire for everyone. So flat tires can be very frustrating, but with the steps we just talked about, you should be able to hopefully prevent most of them. If you need help figuring out what will work for your particular bike, stop on in and we'll help you out.